The heat is on as the Timberwolves get ready to battle with Miami this Tuesday, tip-off 7 p.m. Catch every shot, every dunk, every jaw-dropping play this season on the Timberwolves iHeartRadio channel.
Some rather intriguing texts have come our way in the last several minutes. This is the Bumper to Bumper program on the worldwide KFAN leader. And Guardsy is in Ann Arbor today, go for women's basketball. That's his number one duty this afternoon. I'm assuming he's back tomorrow. I'm not sure. Do we think he's back tomorrow?
That's my understanding.
You left your lunch? Are you looking for your lunchbox? Yeah, I figured. I wondered that it's prominent. I mean, it's not something you're going to lose. So but then I said, well, maybe you don't need it badly enough.
It's a little small.
Yeah. It's,
I'm afraid I would lose it.
It's handsome. It's a nice looking,
Thanks.
it's a nice looking
igloo.
box. Yeah. Is that the brand?
I tend to leave something everywhere.
It's remarkable. You've left wallet, keys.
Well, even more recently, Saturday, got out of the rental car. We took a little vacation, and I left my valuables pouch
in the car, in the rental. Oh, that's the worst feeling.
Yeah, and the only thing, there's not much value in it because at least I had my ID in my pocket. Because then I can't get back if you don't have a driver's license.
No.
There was cash in it, not a lot, but enough where it's like.
So it was not recovered?
I didn't even bother.
You didn't even try. You didn't even try.
Like your budget rent a car. I mean, maybe it's just I don't trust human nature.
Yeah.
Your budget rent a car guy. You go through, you find a valuables pouch, open and go, hey, a little over $100 in here. Well, how can I prove that? If I call him up and say, here's go, I never saw it. Now, maybe he would have turned it in. Maybe I should have a better belief in my fellow man.
Maybe it is turned right now. It's sitting there in a spot where they turn that stuff in, and it would have been such a heartwarming moment for you.
But on another trip, I had a headset.
Yeah.
That I left in the airplane pouch. Remember they tell you to check? I don't listen to, are you one of those guys who don't listen to the announcements? I don't need the announcements. I've flown enough. Well, I should have listened. Please check the pouch in front of you to make sure. So I left it in there. I called Delta. Anybody find it? Nope, couldn't find it, sir. Well, I don't think cleaning people. I just think the next person that got on board said, hey, these look like some pretty nice headphones, because they were pretty nice
Sony?
headphones. No, they were...
Bose?
No, they were actually...
Beats?
Bowsen.
Oh, Bowers and Wilkins?
Bowers and Wilkins.
Those are good. Those aren't starters.
No, they're not.
B&W, those aren't starters
That's what
at all.
I had.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. So I lose something all the time. Here's another thing I did. I shouldn't even admit this on 100,000 watt radio. I tell my boys, I say, well, we're gone. I'm going to take my car key and I'm going to hide it in the house. If anybody breaks in, they can't find my car key and steal my car. Well, no one's going to break in, right? I got home and couldn't remember where I put my car.
No! That's so good. Now, see, that could happen to me.
I looked all day yesterday, or Friday, when we got back Saturday night, looked for 2 hours Saturday night. Then Sunday morning, and you know where I finally found it? This is how bad we have a little secretary's desk there.
Well, don't tell everybody, because then...
Well, here's what... Well, I will never hide it there again.
Oh, okay, all right. So that's clear.
You're a scented candle guy.
Yeah.
So it's a scented candle with a cover on the top. I had taken the key fob and put it in there. And I didn't even remember it. All of a sudden, I'm walking by, and I just went...
Wait a minute. Was that it?
And I opened it. There was.
And there it was.
And that... I didn't actually lose that. I misplaced it or put it in a spot, but I lose something or forget, whatever. Yeah. And that's what I did here. Got my car and said, where's my...
Well, do you think that's a function of age, or do you think you were just as capable of doing that at the age of 22?
I've been like this forever.
Yeah.
I always misplace something, lose something. So maybe I should call budget.
I just think of the heartwarming feeling in your gut if they say to you, sir, as a matter of fact, yes. I mean, if you can identify I'm sure they'll ask you to identify the pouch, but whatever it was. So, and if you can, you sit there and you end up with the...
We've packed in the hotel. I got up early. I'm packed ahead of time before everybody else. Packed earlier than I... All of a sudden I go, I get the little leather... You've seen my little leather thing. I got a little leather... I don't know what you would call it. It's like a wallet, but it's big enough for 3 credit cards.
Yeah, card case, I think they call them in the business. Case. Yeah, right.
So I go, where's my card case? I bet I packed it in the suitcase and the pants I wore to the restaurant last night. So even after packing, I had to unpack everything in the
You've got
suitcase.
to be kidding me.
And
Was that where they were?
Yeah, well, no. Here's what my boy says. Did you check your back pocket? I go, it isn't in my back pocket. Then all of a sudden, I checked my front pocket. It was
It's
in my
there.
pocket the whole time. So it was in my front pocket of the pants I was wearing, but I didn't check there.
So,
and I
meanwhile,
tore
you had
my
to-
entire suitcase apart and had to repack.
Defeating
I
the
packed
purpose
twice.
of getting your
Yeah.
packing done ahead of time. That's well, at least you're honest
Well,
about
and
it.
here's what I think. I think it's not so much a function of age. It's a whole multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers
Yeah.
and screamers and laughers. It's my Haight-Ashbury days.
Coming back in a sense. It could be.
Yeah, part of my brain just
So
says,
certain things, certain like nerve endings got burnt out
It's
that
exactly.
had some impact, and
My
so it just leaves you a little bit lacking in that area.
Is it called your medulla oblongata?
It's close enough.
At least if you went missing, there would be a trail of various personal items that we could
That's true.
follow to get to.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of it that
Sort
way.
of like the Goldilocks.
That's true.
Was it who was the one that left the little? No, Hansel and Gretel.
Yes.
Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, I don't think anybody
Are you more
knows
of a
those
Hansel
anymore.
guy?
I think I was more of a Gretel.
Yeah.
But I'm not even sure. I don't even know. I don't think anybody even knows what we're talking about right now.
No. Well, if you weren't a fairy tale person, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
Rapunzel with the golden hair.
I don't think anybody. Those. I mean, I'm sure they're out of. They're not popular any longer. They might not be politically correct.
Yeah, that's true too.
There may be a lot of messages that were sent that were subliminally sexist.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So-
well, do you remember the children's book Stone Soup?
I do not.
Three soldiers come to town. They had one item to cook and say, oh, if we only had something else, we could make stone soup. Then the townspeople said, well, I got a carrot. Somebody else had this. And basically it was propagating, is that the right word? A socialistic society.
Ah, okay.
Which I didn't know it because I'm 5 years old. What they were saying is everybody shared and we can all have something. Don't keep the carrot to yourself. Share with
So,
everybody.
like the new mayor of New York City, he would love that story.
Yes,
he
he
would
would
say,
love
"This
stone
is
soup.
perfect, exactly
He
it."
would love stone
Yeah,
soup.
that's it. They're always trying to mess with our minds.
and
Why
you
is
don't know
that?
they are. Well, and here that they're doing it when you're at a really young age when you don't understand
you don't have any
and you're
idea. You just think it's a
brainwashing.
cool little story, and turns out it's to try to
Deuce
get
and I
you.
say it all the time when they show the crowd shots at like the Bears game. There's like an 8-year-old kid with his Bears gear on. We just go, he's been brainwashed already. His parents are introducing him to a lifetime of misery, regardless of the team.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like, why did you do that to your child? Why are you making him watch pro football and go to games and get excited? His heart's going to get broken.
Do you think part of this is, you could argue, to bring it to the current time as opposed to the time that we tend to live in, you and me, that your neurological pathways got disconnected somewhere along the road? That's what this is all about.
I think that could very well be.
I think Texter's got it right.
I think I
that's
got neurological pathways.
yeah. That's not me. What? Well, why are you even here this late?
Looking for my lunch pail.
All this time?
Well, no, but I was talking to salespeople.
Okay, salespeople.
Trying to find money.
Did you any luck?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I'll
Well,
keep
it's
working.
early in the year. It's only
Yeah,
January.
it
Usually
is.
things kind of build up.
Tis the
over a period of
season.
time. Yeah.
What do you? Is it controversial?
Well,
today?
it is, because I've got a lot of people who believe I've never played the game and I don't
Right.
understand emotion. And yeah, JJ maybe they got a little better of it. The other, he got a little out of control with how he reacted and what's wrong with a little emotion. And I don't even think it was emotion that his teammates particularly rallied to. I think, to me, that's one of those, you just wince and you go, oh, God, please.
Well, when he was doing the apology, it didn't look like many of the players were like, "Yeah, that's okay." They were kind of just look at him and look away. Yeah.
Well, I have actually think, see, every once in a while I get a text that I think confirms one of my concerns about him. And there are times he may end up being an all-time great. And by the way, I'm not ready to give up on him.
I'm not either.
I think that'd be foolish.
Yeah.
But I worry that he's one of those quarterbacks who likes the idea of the persona of being the quarterback more than actually doing day-to-day the things that make you a good quarterback. You know what I mean?
Sort of like Johnny Manziel.
A little bit. Like,
They're
9.
different
He's got
personalities, but
he's not 9. He's got and the way this guy puts it, he's caught up in the juvenile backyard theatrics of football more than he is playing the game, just trying to conduct himself as an adult professional.
Yeah.
And I think someone's given him the wrong idea. Like, son, if you show that kind of feistiness, people are going to love that. And I'm going to tell you, they might love it at the beginning, but it ain't going to last.
No.
What they're going to love is in the prime, in the heat of battle, just coolly, calmly making the right read, the right throw over and over again. That's what they're going to care about more than the other. Because the other stuff, you can say we rally around it, it's emotion, and it's a good thing. They'll get tired of that if you can't make the plays. That's correct. Being the quarterback is, not sort of assuming this role that you have been led to believe is what it's about if you want to make it to the top level.
The one thing that I think may work in this area is you would hope that's something that's just a bad decision on your where the coach can go, don't do that again, and maybe he'll learn. Yes. I don't know if teaching the mechanics and the intricacies of the game is quite as easy. See what I'm saying? That's one thing that I think he can correct if he just doesn't do it again. But you're right. Nobody liked that. I mean, the game was meaningless, but they had a nice drive going, and that just basically snuffed out the drive.
Snuffed out the drive.
They had to punt.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive.
You got to go.
I got to go. This is Ben Lieber's hour. Ooh. And I got to see Lieber. I think we and I talked about this before the show. It sounds like Lieber was a little bit frustrated
that he pulled himself
with JJ pulling himself out of the game. And I want to get back into that issue with him because I respect him. He's a good commentator and he's a former player. And there's that question that we both talked about. It's like, well, but if he literally can't throw, isn't he hurting the team if he does that? That's, to me, where it's interesting. So I'll ask Lieber.
Because I know that, especially in football, it's supposed to be like, you're supposed to be like Wentz. If you can...
Football and hockey.
Yeah, if you can walk on upright, then you've got to go out and play no matter how bad it is. And yeah, I guess, but, like Tenabit was saying, the guy that, and maybe you should ask Lieber about this, is Darisaw. He's on his own self-imposed pitch count. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he practices.
Yeah,
He's
I agree.
Your left tackle, and he was in and out of the lineup a lot this. Now, maybe legitimately so, because when you're coming back from major reconstructive knee surgery, but pulling yourself out of the game because your hand, you can't squeeze a football to throw it, or Darisaw was like that all year. So, maybe Darisaw is more of a question.
I think there's some truth to that. I was looking for the text, though. Oh, so I don't know. Did you hear about this? Because we're late, but regarding B-Flow, because Johnny Athletic, he kind of threw out some stuff that got people's attention that maybe there's more to the B-Flow thing than just he wants to be a head coach about the possibility of him leaving. So this is apparently Bursich was on with PA this morning. This is what the texter guy writes. Piecing things together, maybe Bursich was onto something with PA this morning when he used an example of how meetings could get contentious when coaches don't stay in their lane. The example was a coach saying if they only had more turnovers, things would look different. Perhaps this was more than an example asked Pete. Now, he may be putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 6. I don't know. He may be assuming some things. I have no idea. But I keep getting this vibe from people that there's a little more there than just that he wants to be a head coach about the possibility of why he hasn't already signed an extension. So I don't know. Maybe this will all go away tomorrow. Yeah. And they'll announce it. And so, because I do think it would be a pretty massive loss to this team if he goes someplace else to be an assistant, to be a coordinator. And don't they have to let him? Because isn't that considered a lateral move?
And I think his contract does expire.
Oh, that's true. You're right. So he could technically walk to anything.
I will admit, I always thought, coordinators are important, but you know what? They don't make that big of a deal. But the Ben Johnson move from Detroit over to Chicago. Detroit was a first-place team last night, 15-2 with an explosive offense. They go to last place. The Bears were a last-place team and went to first place. Other than personnel changes and injuries, what was the biggest change? It was offensive coordinator went there. So, if B-Flow goes, that probably would change how this defense plays.
Look around and be sure you got keys. Check your keys. You got wallet.
Check.
You got your glasses, you're wearing them.
Yep.
That part's good. You got your phone, and that's nothing else that you have.
And I got my pants.
And you got your pants, and that's also good.
And they're not down around my aunt.
I knew. So one of us is going to say it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Super Show, the best kind, just out of nowhere. Back in just a minute here in the... And it's an endless array of texts coming in. One of them is mentioning that there's breaking news regarding the governor of the great state of Minnesota, which we did not miss. We are aware of that story, which I think there was some speculation last night that that's why he had called a press conference, or I don't know if he actually took questions. I think it was more he made an announcement that he is indeed, he being Governor Walz, is not running for a third term as he had originally intended to do. Kessler is going to join us in about an hour in studio on that particular subject. He is scheduled for 5:30, and there's so much else to get to, and we'll certainly over the course of the week try to get to some international stuff as well with our guy, Michael Hurley. A number of texts just came in regarding the impromptu Super Show. This comes from, looks like 406 guy. Yeah, 406. Will you look up area code 406? I think on the basis of his text, I know where that might be.
I've got it in Montana.
Yeah, that's it. Here's what he writes. It's always so amazing when Super Show comes together. I told my wife the other day that I didn't know what I was going to do with when Barreiro, Common, and PA retired because they've been the vocal backdrop of the last 20-some years of my life. I'm now building a house on a mountainside in Montana. An iHeartRadio app is keeping me connected to those voices. Let's have some more Super Show in the future. Thanks for the memories, Dan. We love you. Very sweet text. Much appreciated. And we get, I think, another testimonial to the versatility and greatness of the iHeart and simplicity of the iHeartRadio app. And when I say simple, I mean that in a way where I'm denigrating myself. I think through Guardsy, I don't exactly know how it got set up. I ended up getting a 5-minute opportunity on News Nation, one of their shows today. They wanted a kind of a local reaction regarding the Walz story. And they, it's TV, so everything's got to be visual now when possible. So the idea was, I got a text from the producer with a link. And he said, just click on the link, and then you'll be connected to us, and then we'll get things going. And I'm thinking, well, even I might, I might be capable of pulling that off. So I patiently wait for when I'm supposed to be on about 4:20. I should say I should let me back up. 2:20, 3:20 Eastern. And so he said, just do the link about 2:10 your time, and we should be good. So I hit 2:10, right on the money. I'm going to be, I want to follow their directions. And at 2:10, it says you can't do this link because you have not downloaded the, I don't know, is it Meetings app, Zoom, one of them that I didn't have on my iPad. So then I think, well, okay, I'll just download the app. But then it starts asking me for passwords that I've long forgotten, that I can't remember. It says, well, if you can't remember it, here's what we'll do. We'll direct you. We'll give you your phone a code. But then after I put that code in, then it asks for another code that was internally in my phone, different than the regular code. So by the end of this I've got to text the guy. They're now minutes away from this thing they've set up. They got a tight schedule. And I'm going, I've blown this. It's not going to work. I can't get this thing to work. So probably not their first rodeo. So the producer says, all right, well, can you use your phone instead? And I said, well, can you do that? He goes, well, in a pinch, yeah, we'll do it. So he sent me the link there. And the first time, again, I don't even think I knew what I was doing. I think I blundered into finally getting it to where they could see me and I could see them. And then I had to find then they asked me to raise the phone a little higher. So we ended up getting it done. It was a nice discussion with the host. But that's when I say easy, even I can figure out the iHeartRadio app. It's not, it's not as hard as what I had to do on this occasion, because anything that I'm not ready for, I'd said I was going to text you. As it turns out, I didn't need you, but there's nothing to the iHeartRadio app. It's free. It's easily downloadable. I don't remember having to put in any password when I downloaded the app at all. And it's available to you anywhere. So if you're building, that sounds nice, by the way, building a house on a mountainside in Montana, that's not a bad gig if you can get it, right? You have complete access to your hometown station. And, again, you got to remember, I'm a kid who had to spend 3 lost years in Chattanooga, Tennessee when I was like 12 years old. And I was a huge Chicago sports rube. And I had no opportunity. The opportunity I had to listen to Chicago teams? Maybe at like 10 o'clock at night, I might be able to get WGN radio and the signal would fade in and out with the wind or whatever causes the thing to fade in or out. That was it. I mean, I think about little Danny Barreiro having an iHeart radio app to plug into all my favorite shows back in Chicago, my teams or whatever. You kidding me? So I'm glad that's worked out for 406 guy. I'm glad he enjoyed a Super Show. And if you've not, this should be as good an advertisement as you can get for the free, and always improving iHeartRadio app. Back in a minute.
Every game is a big game when it's Wild Hockey. You can feel the intensity and excitement at Grand Casino Arena this season. You can get your tickets today at wild.com/tickets, wild.com/tickets.
All right, a short segment leading into a conversation with Ben Lieber. Bonus Pat Kessler is scheduled to join. He will join in studio now. Bonus, as we said, for all the obvious reasons, at 5:30 this very evening, 5:30 tonight. Where was I? We've already done the single Vikings talking point off of this game. It's really been a discussion point throughout the show. Do you or Nacho feel that we as a fan base have a victim mentality? Everyone bemoans not having Darnold this year. How do you think the Jets feel? They spent a top draft pick on him. We clamor and demand a young, high draft pick quarterback, then lack any patience to sit and to watch him develop, demanding instant results. Does the lack of a Super Bowl contribute to this? I think that's Carl from Lake Elmo. I'll try to describe it this way, Carl, because we've talked about this several times on this show over the course of this season. If the average Vikings fan is impatient, I think that was an inevitable outcome to what has played out here for this franchise over the course of the last now 2 seasons. Ordinarily, when the young high draft pick quarterback comes in, the team is coming off a 3-14 season. And the assumption is the team itself is not close to competing. Therefore, it becomes easier, I think, to accept the highs and the discernible lows. What was utterly unfair to McCarthy, but what was the reality of the situation, because the Vikings chose to go down this road, is that the Vikings are coming off a 14-3 season. It did not end very well in the postseason, but there was still a belief that there was a core of players here and an opportunity, especially when you factored in the number of players they added in free agency, to make this thing work again this season. And you, I think, implicitly convey to your fan base the message that maybe the normal rules regarding young quarterbacks won't apply here because of all the talent we've surrounded him with. That was certainly what KOC was on record as saying. And I think it's not surprising that fans start believing it. And that's why I don't blame those who are impatient. Because the Vikings themselves made a bet. And they lost the bet for this season. Doesn't mean long-term they've lost a bet for McCarthy, but they've lost the bet for this season. So I don't think it's an unwillingness to be patient about a young quarterback. It's the combo platter of a team coming off last year with that good a record and the unusual nature of your options that you chose to ignore. That included bringing back Sam Darnold, long-term, probably not practical, or franchise, more practical, or Daniel Jones, as we talked about yesterday, or Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold is not only in the playoffs, he won the game that he didn't win a year ago. Now, you could say it mainly because of a very good defense, but he won it. So he did exactly what he couldn't do for the Vikings a year ago, and they are the number 1 seed, Seattle, on the NFC side. Aaron Rodgers advanced to the playoffs with a virtuoso performance last night in Baltimore. Now, you could say if the kickers take care of business, it's a different story, but the fact is they didn't. He was terrific, probably the best he's played all season. I think he threw for about 275 yards. We could have had him. Now, Daniel Jones ends up getting hurt, but was off to a very good start before he ended up suffering the Achilles injury. So all those are, I think, why it's a little more complicated than saying, well, man, what's with this fan base? Why can't we let this thing play out? Those are all the reasons that after a season that has led to these results, it may not be quite that easy, or why it's, I guess, is a little bit more on the complicated side. We'll find out what Lieber has to say about the McCarthy decision to pull himself from the game, and maybe even some other issues. B-Flow, is he automatically back? Is he worried about that? Any questions for Nacho? Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line is wide open at 646-86.